Technology is really great, isn't it? I've noticed that a lot in the last few weeks. Many of us are confined to our homes, unable to get out much, but in a lot of ways, we're still just able to carry on with our lives. People are working from home, taking classes from home, staying connected with friends and family through video chats and social media, and it's wonderful, all because of our amazing technology. But I think also sometimes technology has given us the false sense of being in control. I can talk to anyone, anywhere in the world. If I want something, I just go online, type in a bunch of numbers, and it's on my porch in 2 days. Amazon even makes these little buttons that you can put on your fridge or on your counter, and they say like Tide with a little Tide detergent logo. And you just push the button, and it connects to your computer through the internet, and in 2 days, a box of Tide laundry detergent will be on your porch. And technology makes us feel like we have control over everything in our lives until we don't. And right now, I think a lot of us are feeling out of control. We've lost control. We can't go anywhere, anytime we want. We can't see the people we want to see. We certainly can't give them a handshake or a hug. We can't get anything that we want at the store because we're not even supposed to go to the store unless we absolutely have to. And even when we're there, things are being rationed for us. And I know that these are really, really small hardships in the grand scheme of life, especially with everything that's going on. But I also know that it can be really, really hard for people to feel like they have lost control, like they're helpless, like there's nothing they can do. But the reality is, we never really had control. We didn't get to choose what circumstances we were born into. We didn't get to choose what the world around us looks like. Even those things that we think we control are usually beyond us. I mean, how many of us actually understand how that little button on our fridge for Tide detergent works? How it gets the laundry detergent from a warehouse 1,000 miles away to our front porch in 2 days. I don't know how that works. I don't really have control over it. We certainly don't understand how our own bodies work, how the air we breathe keeps us alive, how our bodies transform food into energy, how water sustains us. No, we've never really been in control. We've just convinced ourselves that we were. But not being in control requires that we trust that somebody else is, that God is in control. And it's really easy to say that God is in control, but it's a lot harder to allow that truth to wash over us and wash away our fears and anxieties and frustrations. Now, when I say that God is in control, I don't mean that God is necessarily actively causing every little thing to happen. And I certainly don't mean that God will never let bad things happen to people who are faithful to him. But what I do mean is that in the end, because God is in control, all things will be well. You may have seen a quote going around on social media these last few weeks from Julian of Norwich. And I'm not claiming to be the first person to think of this quote or to apply it to this situation, but I think as often as it can be said, the better we'll all be. Julian of Norwich was an English Christian writer in the 13 and 1400s, and she actually wrote the earliest surviving book in the English language to be written by a woman. And Julian was a child when the Black Death, the bubonic plague, swept across England, wiping out maybe 50% of the population. And she also faced uprisings and revolts and wars in her life. And at one point, she writes in her book about a vision that she had from God, who came to her and said, "Despite all the problems that we see in the world, all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well." And it seems likely that in the coming weeks, things will not seem to be going well for many of us. And we may never see the clear conclusion or the end goal. We may never really understand why things happen the way that they happen. Julian faced that too. In her book, she continues to write, and she says that She thinks about all of these evil and painful things, almost as if she's asking God, how could all things possibly be well? Don't you see all the evil in the world? But God never explains to her how everything will turn out. He never tells her exactly what's going to happen, but he does continue to say, all shall be well. It may be that God doesn't protect us from every hardship. Maybe that many of us face sickness and pain and loss on top of the frustration and anxiety we're already feeling. But God does promise us that no matter what happens to us today or tomorrow or any day on this side of eternity, in the end, all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well.